So English is not like any other subject because it is a language, so it's not as easy to study for without the formulas, and I always thought that I'll rely on practice to study, but I always never seem to improve.
So for English, right, because it's a language-based subject, so I find it very hard to study for it and like find new methods to like get my grades to be better. So I tried to find my school teacher for help. For like the past 4 years, I seek help from her consultation, but she tried like different methods and skills to like teach us, but it didn't work for me. So like my grades just remained the same. So I didn't know what I could do to get my grades to improve.
I felt that my issue in English was that I didn't understand the topic and format. I didn't understand why I would have to do certain things, but it wasn't something that I could just practice straight away. It wasn't like maths or science where I just keep piling up practice papers or assessment books.
First, I just felt that English is not a subject that can be tutored. I did not like to write books. I did not like to read books, and I just didn't understand formats or any memorization of the English work. So I was very discouraged, and I just did not like English overall.
I felt that English there was like no way to get the correct answer, and usually when I take exams, I wasn't sure if my answers were correct or not.
Concepts and my knowledge about English was very poor, so I didn't know how to study for it.
I didn't know that there was a structure to English. I thought you had to be born with the talent to do English.
Never knew how studying English would work because English is a language, hence we are not able to actually like practice and study for the language.
So for my school lessons, right, we usually do practices in class and then we do our homework, and then when we go back to when we go back to school, and then our English teacher will like go through the answers with us and tell us like one specific answer, like, let's say comprehension. But for Mr. Tan, right, he will give us like a range of answers that he will accept, and like around like which lines like he would accept the answer and like why is it so. So it's more flexible, and like, it's not only like one answer you can answer to, and you will know why it's like that.
For my school lessons, the teacher will just normally go through practice papers and we will answer them, and after that she'll go through with us and we'll clarify any doubts you have. But for Mr. Tan's lesson, he will also take the extra step to go through the questions, as in like tells us the steps on how to answer the question.
In good school, I feel that they managed to cover more topics and methods that in school we don't really touch on. I think that in school it's very difficult for one teacher to accommodate to 40 students, so they usually have to make the lesson pace much faster. But in good school, the groups are about 10 to 15 only, so we have the luxury of time, and Mr. Tan can go through more things than school, so that gives us an advantage over our classmates.
School lessons, it's just very unproductive. The teachers are not very accommodating because they have so many more students to teach. Over here, Mr. Tan can provide you more attention, and also he's able to identify the weaker students in the class, and he will sometimes advise us to stay back after lesson so that he can give more valuable feedbacks that we can use.
There are like small group classes which makes learning more like personalized, and the tutors actually like talk to you and share like different methods for you to like gain knowledge and apply what they teach into your exams.
Things are broken down into easier steps to follow. In school, it's more given an entire chunk, and then you have to learn everything yourself.
Lessons in good school are always very interactive. The teachers always make sure that we understand what they're teaching and make sure we know how to apply what we're teaching. But in school, the lessons are usually very brief.
My teacher went on so fast, and the attention was just not given to all of us, and it's just like just skimming through the whole lesson throughout. Hence, at Good School, I was able to like ask questions whenever I needed help, or just like the attention is all given to us because the class is very small.
I feel like Mr. Tan is able to give us formulas that we can follow, and he is also able to answer any questions we raise on the spot so that we can learn at a faster rate.
He gives us like different methods to remember and answer the questions accurately, but it's also like interactive and not boring, unlike school lessons, which not many people will pay attention to. So like he will try to entertain us by cracking like some jokes, which will keep us awake and stay focused. But still it will be relevant to the things he'll be teaching.
Mr. Tan's lessons are very, very precise, and they target common mistakes that we all make, and when I say common, it's really everybody makes a mistake one. So he knows how to go through it, and he knows how to explain to us why it's wrong and what are the ways we can fix it. I feel that it's a very clear cut, and I really appreciate that.
It's very engaging and fun because aside from teaching, they crack jokes occasionally, and they also talk about their family. So it gives us some time to relax and not think about just studying, but they would still come back to the studies after a short while.
The teacher's lesson is very lively, the environment is very nice, the friends there also very good. Tutor makes the lessons more interesting by like adding more like real world things, like articles and stuff. Then he also has like activities that make it more fun.
I managed to do a 2-grade jump from a B4 to A2 within 6 to 7 months in Good School.
I got B3 for my O-levels, even though my usual score was like a C5. But I think this 2 grades improvement is like really noticeable, as it was only like a 4 months kind of thing.
I managed to improve from a D7 to a B3 in my O-levels.
I improved from E8 to B3.
Result was stagnant at C5, and for O-levels I got B3, and I could only make the jump for within like half a year. I only had half a year of him. And for chemistry, it went from E8 to A2.
From E8 to B3 in like a few months.
I went from a C6 to a B3.
I improved from a C6 to a B3 in 2 months.